Hello and welcome back to Tell Me Your Ghost Story. I am your host, Cassie Askin, and today we hear Kari's stories. Kari is a wedding photographer, and I can vouch highly for her because she was my wedding photographer. And along the journey from our engagement session to the big day, we became friends. Not only is she super uniquely talented as a photographer, she is such a cool person, and I'm so happy y'all are about to meet her and hear her stories. Kari drew us some photos to go along with her stories that you'll hear us talking about. These photos will be present on the YouTube video if that's where you're watching, or they can be found on our Instagram. All the more reason for you to go follow us over there if you aren't already. So without any further ado, let's get to Kari's stories. Hi, Kari.
Hi.
Thank you for being here, and thank you for having a ghost story.
Oh my gosh. Of course. Thank you for having me.
Of course. I'm so excited because all I know about your stories is that you told me you have a lot of them. And
I have a good handful.
amazing. That is music to my ears. So, Kari, tell me your ghost stories.
Ooh. Okay. So I'm gonna go chronologically.
Amazing.
The earliest thing that I remember, I was probably, I want to say like 5 or 6. It was during summer and we were swimming in the pool with my dad, and my mom was laying out too. And I don't know why, but I remember getting up out of the pool and going for whatever reason into my parents' bathroom. And normally like we had 2 bathrooms. We had like one in the main hallway and then my parents' room. And I, for whatever reason, had to go into my parents' bathroom. I just remember vividly drying my hands and then like angling to walk out the door, and in the doorway was literally, it was like a classic like sheet ghost, but it was just like this huge black figure. I couldn't make out any details on it, but I just vividly remember like just being completely like like so shocked and like spooked, and all I could see was this giant black figure like towering over me, like huge, like its head was like touching the ceiling. And I just sprinted. I was still in my bathing suit, like little 6-year-old me, and just like had dried my hands, saw that, and just sprinted like through it almost.
Oh,
Like I remember it was in front of the doorway, like basically like almost trapping me in the bathroom. And I was like, well, I'm not staying here. I'm freaking out, dude. So I literally just like sprint through it and like around the corner super fast and run straight, like full sprint as fast as I can possibly move. My little 6-year-old body sprinted all the way back out through the kitchen and like jumped straight into the pool. Like jumped straight in. My dad and my sister and my mom were still outside. And I just remember like coming up for air and looking right at like the doorway to like see if something was there, and nothing was there.
oh my God.
And that was like one of my earliest like childhood memories.
You were a brave kid to run through this.
Yeah, I honestly,
black
thinking
thing.
about that now, I'm like, what possessed me to
I mean, what can you do
like,
though? Like,
leave the room and like run through it?
that's the only exit, right? The one door.
I'm like, I'm not gonna turn around and hide in the shower. But like obviously, like in a moment like that, you're not thinking,
No.
like nothing is going through your head except I need to get the fuck out of here.
I love that you went from like the most terrified you've ever been to just jumping in a pool. Like,
yeah, literally. I just ran straight out, jumped in the pool, turned around, and I'm like, did it follow me? Because I don't know, in my head, I'm like, if I make it back out to where my family is, like, I'll be fine.
safe. Yeah.
And it's like in broad daylight.
Yeah.
So
I'm going to open up this photo of it. Oh.
ooh, yeah.
Ooh.
So
Yeah,
that's a little me, and that's like,
Yeah.
I wanted the drawing to like depict how big it felt.
That's so crazy. That's like, I mean, you said like a sheet ghost. That's like what I saw when I was 12.
Yeah.
Which is, I feel
It's
like you
just
don't hear a lot of people saying they see the sheet ghost,
Yeah.
but
But it's not that we're seeing like a sheet. It's just a shadow.
It's like
so there's no other
shape
figure, shape to like describe it as.
Well, this is terrifying. This photo.
So probably around the same time of my childhood, within those like few years, I was asleep in bed, and my tiny little twin bed was like pushed up into the corner of my room, like no space on the other side of me against the wall.
Mhm.
And it was like saying like super early morning hours, like light is just starting to peek into my room, and it's like that bright blue light. And I don't remember anything else happening, but I literally saw a black like ball, and it looked like, in my mind, I imagined it like it looked like a bat. Like it was like curled up in the corner of my room.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
I saw it for a split second, and then all of a sudden it jet straight across the wall, like the ceiling, and it made like a slamming noise, like something hit like sounded just like that. It sounded like something hit the wall above my head and fell down the crack. But as soon as I saw it in the corner, I just immediately like started to like close my eyes and cover my head, but I saw it jet across the top of the ceiling towards me.
Oh no.
And then I'm like laying there with my eyes closed, like covered up, and I'm like expecting something freaky, like a little bat or something to be right next to me on this side of me, because I fully just saw it jet across my head
and heard
like,
it
right above, and I heard it hit the wall, and I'm like, what? And then I look and nothing's there. But I'm like, that was like a very vivid, like how could my brain just make that up first thing in the morning? Like there's a bat flying across my ceiling and hitting the walls.
And to hear it at the same time.
Yeah. Like actually slam against the wall.
Did you feel it or hear it fall when it fell? Or you just heard it slam and then?
I just heard it slam. And then obviously, like, hearing that, like, your instincts kind of just make up the rest, I guess.
That it fell. Ooh.
So I just imagined that I would, like, turn over and there would be something.
A bat.
There. Because I'm like, what? It's not going to stay up on the ceiling if it just hit the wall. Ooh. I don't know, man.
What's your third one from childhood?
So the third one is the other drawing that I made for you.
I'm excited.
This one was, I think, the most, like, real ghost situation. It wasn't just a dark figure. It was like I actually saw a person. And so basically I was definitely, this is like a couple years or a few years after the fact. I was definitely a little bit older, and I was doing the dishes, and the way that my kitchen was like the sink was right at the window, and then directly behind the window, like straight back across the kitchen, there was a doorway to my hallway, which led out to the living room. So I'm standing there doing dishes, and I know for a fact already my sister was sitting in the living room on the couch watching TV, and my mom was in the bathroom the other direction down the hallway. And my mom washed her face, like got ready for bed, and I see her in the reflection of the window, because obviously like windows open, I can't see out because it's dark outside at this point, so it's just a reflection.
Okay.
So I see my mom walk by, and then immediately after my mom, I see another person walk by.
Ooh.
And all that I see is just like long, straight black hair, like almost like Exorcist vibes, but like there's no really like detail to it, and it didn't look like demonic or scary. It just looked like if you're walking by and your head's like this, so your hair is kind of falling over your face, so you can't really see your face. And it was just long, straight black hair. And I remember it looked like a girl, like obviously the hair makes it look like a girl. But she was shorter than my mom. And I'm like, but I know, like, my sister had short, light hair.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it was not matching up. So even if I didn't notice her go back in the bathroom, like it could not have been my sister. It didn't look like my sister. It didn't look like my little chunky like sister.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and then I remember it looked like she was wearing like almost like button-up PJs.
Ooh.
Like classic like pink button-up jammies with like a little like flower print on it.
That's crazy. You could like see the print of her clothing.
Yeah,
That's
and I was
messed up.
and it wasn't it was like, okay, there's another person here.
Yeah.
So I see the reflection walk by and immediately turn around to see if I could still see something there and like see the rest of the body, because all I could see was like chest up really in the reflection. And I walked out so fast. I looked both ways down the hallway, didn't see anything, and literally just right in front of me, my mom hadn't even walked all the way out into the living room when I came out behind her. She was still just like standing just past the like doorway that I saw her walk by,
Mm-hmm.
like just past it, and like standing like with her hands on her hips looking at whatever my sister was watching. And my sister was fully sitting down in the furthest seat away on the couch. So timing wise, there was like I knew immediately that I saw a ghost, because I just was like, this isn't adding up for me.
Damn. Oh.
So that is
I
like
see the photo.
the most vivid.
Oh, it was that close. Ooh.
Yeah, so like
she looked that size in comparison to you.
Yeah.
Ooh, I was picturing like farther away. That's like really close.
No, I would say the like space difference was literally from like where we're sitting to the wall. Like it wasn't our kitchen's not, it wasn't big. It was just like,
ew. Oh my God.
like sink, fridge,
Uh-huh.
doorway where we're sitting. And like this is like right where my mom walked past.
Oh my God. And this was in the same house that the other two things happened?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that house was haunted? Did you hear any stories from your other family members of anything happening there?
No, I fear that my mom has stories that she hasn't told us. And I feel like also my sister probably has, like, I feel like we all just kind of like came to the understanding that like we're not going to talk about spooky things, because I also like obviously having those experiences and like having all the like sleep paralysis and like having a ton of nightmares as a kid, like I made it very known to my mom that like I get scared easily and I don't want to talk about it and I don't want to hear scary things and I don't want to be scared by her anymore. So I think we just don't talk about it. But after this comes out, I'm curious to see.
I think you got some Halloween plans this year.
Yeah, for real.
Ooh, and then have them call in to me.
Yeah.
And I want to hear their stories
Have them
in
on
this house.
for sure.
Does your family live in another house now? Or
No,
is it this house?
so it's technically the same house, but it was completely torn down and remodeled. I can't remember if it was before or after it was remodeled, but there was one other time that I guess I did actually feel something, because I just remember always being afraid of the garage and like not wanting to go out into the garage when it was dark because there were no lights out there. And I just remember walking back like through the laundry room and it felt like I like walked through like a spider web.
Ooh.
Like it felt like I literally like walked through like I felt it on my skin, like felt like a spider web, but it wasn't just like what, I'm not gonna walk through a full-blown spider web covering a whole like body width.
Right.
Does that make sense?
In like what area was this in the house? Was it inside?
It was inside. It was in the laundry room, like leading out to where the garage was. And everything was like pitch black and I wasn't looking straight ahead. I just like had my head down walking to the garage. And I remember feeling like I walked through something.
Oh. And then you like went into light and there was nothing on
and
you?
As soon as I felt it, I like leaped to turn the light on because I was like, what the fuck was that? And there was nothing there. There was not even like a pile of laundry that could have like possibly like, I don't know, like a spare sock, like
Mhm.
leaning out. I don't, like
Yeah,
it
nothing.
felt like maybe not even a spider web, but just like a sheet almost, like
Yeah.
something very light, but like it didn't like it didn't feel like scary.
Mhm.
It just felt like there was something there, like
Weird.
covering the whole like area that I walked through.
And you felt it, like, still on your skin after you walked through it?
Yeah, it like it felt like there was something like on me.
Ugh.
Like I like I'm like, how do I even describe
Yeah.
this?
I think it spiderweb
Like
sounds like what it was.
I feel like that it had to have been something like that. I did wake up one time with a daddy long leg like
Ugh.
covering my eye.
Oh,
And
dude.
I just remember like opening my eyes and literally seeing the legs across my eyeball.
Dude, that's so weird because I get
Like, is that a bad omen? Maybe. I don't
dude,
know.
I get hypnopompic hallucinations, which is when you are waking up out of a dream and you will, for like a split second, your brain is still in dream mode and you'll see something. So like I don't get paralysis. I've had paralysis a couple times. Luckily haven't seen anything, but I have had hypnopompic hallucinations. And my thing that I see is spiders
Really?
over
Okay,
my eye like this.
Maybe that's what it was.
Did you see the spider after, or you just...
No, it had to have been a real spider because I remember immediately like hitting my face and like trying to like fling it off myself, and I felt it hit my hand. So I think it was there.
I think you had a real one.
I think it was a real spider.
That's my hallucination, but I realize like as I'm waking up that it can't be real because like I'll see like a grasshopper or a bug just like in my face.
Oh my
and I like think
gosh,
it's there and I like flinch and everything, and then I'm like,
and then you're like, wait, I'm okay.
A grasshopper couldn't be in my face like that, or a spider on my eye like that.
Yeah.
So that's so weird you like actually saw that.
Yeah. And
that's crazy.
Remember feeling it hit my hand as I slapped it away.
Jeez.
I've had other weird, and I like tried Googling this and I don't even remember what Google said, but I've had like, I'll have spider encounters, like all like consecutively, like really close together in time, like close encounters.
That's
like,
so weird, Kari. The same thing happens to me.
Really?
No
Where
joke.
You see a lot of them all like around, like you almost touch them or they like pop out from something all within the span of like a week, maybe. Yeah.
That happens to me. It's so weird.
That is
the
really
creepiest one was I was living at my parents' house. I was probably 19 and I was walking into my parents' kitchen, and I swear I thought it was a hallucination, but they were really there. I walk into the kitchen and down, like they were coming down from their webs, 3 little spiders right in front of me, just like that. Like I walked in and they like performed a show at the same time.
Yeah, that's weird. That's really weird.
And I was like, that is too weird. And I like went away, and then I went back and they were still just hanging there, and I like killed them. Like they were really there.
Oh my God.
But it was like they were putting on a show for me.
Literally. They're like, watch
as I walked
this.
in, just
watch me do my dance.
Descending from their spider webs. And I feel like at really high stress or a lot is going on in my life, I will always see spiders. A baby tarantula got into my parents' house once, and it was like legitimately like a baby furry tarantula in like Laguna Niguel, Orange County. Like, why is there? And I took a picture of it. My dad is a nature guy, and he's like, that's a baby tarantula. Like, how was that in the house?
Crazy. Ew. That's so gross.
But yeah, the same thing happens to me.
Spiders.
No. And then you're like, it happens to me when I'm really stressed, and then I get more stressed. I'm like, the spiders are everywhere.
Yeah.
Where's it going to be next?
Yeah, I can't do it.
That's so weird. I've never met anyone who that's happened to.
There was a actual spooky one time, and this is after my house was remodeled. I don't know if this was spiritual. It might have been because it was like way too close. But I literally was about to fall asleep, like rolled over, closed my eyes, phone's away. I'm like ready for bed. And I get this like urge to check my phone again. I'm like, okay, once I put my phone down for bed, it's like, go to bed. Like I'm not reaching for my phone after the fact, but I got this urge to like check my phone really fast. So I just open my eyes. And as I open my eyes, literally perfectly above me from the ceiling, a spider is propelling down, literally landed on my bed right next to where my head was. And if I wouldn't have like gotten that weird urge to check my phone, it would have landed like literally right next to my face. And I was like, yeah,
Oh my
we're
God.
burning this house down right now because I cannot with spiders.
It would have been the one out of the like 7 spiders you're supposed to eat in your sleep. I don't think that's real.
I really hope it's not real. I
You would've
believe
eaten
it
it.
is not real because it was big. It was a
Oh my
chonky.
God. It's
Like no fucking way I'm eating that in my sleep. There's no way.
But like the timing feels like weird and intentional. Like I was supposed to see this.
Yeah. Weird.
I feel that.
Weird,
That's so weird. It happens to me too.
That one I was like, okay, God's looking out for me because
oh my God.
What the fuck?
Ew.
Yeah, so gross.
But yeah, let's hear your mission story.
Yeah. Okay, so this felt completely different than these other encounters where I'm like actually seeing stuff. This was like more of like a like in my soul kind of heavy feeling.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, so also just to set the scene, like
Sure.
I was living in a house with probably 12 or 13 total girls. And the room that I specifically was sleeping in was literally like a bunk room. We called it the dungeon because it was underground.
Oh,
it's
no.
like, also we were in New Zealand, so like the way houses are a lot different. Like it's called a flat, and like it's a whole house basically. Like feels like a whole apartment that's all just like under the first level. So it just already like kind of felt kind of eerie. It was really dark down there, really grimy, just like moldy, stinky, gross. Like no one wanted to spend any time down there. And there were literally 8 of us in this room. So everyone had their own like weird sleeping habits and shit. And it just wasn't like peaceful. It wasn't a peaceful environment. Like everyone's stressed out. We're all in a new place. We've never met these people before. So that's like just to set the scene. So I was bottom bunk. Not that anything really happened with the top bunk, but like across from me was another bunk bed, like directly across. And then I had one girl that was sleeping next to me in the middle, and then another bunk bed. Like it was a big room, but there was a one bunk bed in the corner that no one was on the top bunk. And frequently my top bunk partner would tell me that she would see things on that free bunk, like just like dark, like shadows basically. She would like see shit all the time in that corner of the room.
Okay.
So we were obviously like, we're all very aware of things happening. And I literally could not sleep at night unless I was like blasting worship music in my ears. I'm like, Lord, protect me. I'm scared. So I think this night specifically, I was like just getting really over having my headphones in my ears. So I was playing music from my phone, like on the lowest possible volume, like directly under my ear, under the pillow. But I could still hear everything around me. And I remember just like starting to like feel that like scared, spooky, heavy feeling. And I just like slowly like curled more under my blanket and like pulled it up over my eyes. And I'm like, I'm fine. Everything's fine. I'm just going to stay right here. Nothing's wrong. Lord, help me. Like just trying to like also like pray through the fear that I was starting to feel. And then I started hearing like a breathing noise, like a very like could not have been my like the girl sleeping next to me, because she also was playing like a washing machine noise.
Nice.
But
Interesting choice.
Yeah, I know. For like sleep sounds. I'm like, okay, whatever. So I could hear my music. I could very, very vaguely hear her little washing machine noise. And also like her thing would like turn off after like she fell asleep. So she like set it to like a couple hours or something. So it wouldn't play consistently throughout the whole night. But anyway, so I'm like already feeling sketched out and just like weird and eerie and like scared. And I'm curled up under my blanket and I can make out what sounds like a man, like a deep breathing sound. But like very slowly. I'm like, should I do it?
Yes.
It just sounded like,
oh no.
and like a little gargly like that. Like there was like
God.
something different about it that sounded off too.
Mhm.
And it was just like in my ear. Like it didn't sound like, I feel like I just made like a real snory, like sounded like I'm sleeping snore sound. But it didn't sound like it was asleep. It sounded like it was like just breathing over me. And at that point, I remember like bringing my hands up to my chest and just like, I think I was like just had my arms like across my chest like this. And I was like trying to like just like sink. I'm like, Lord, just can I melt into this bed right now? And I was so like, I vividly remember hearing something breathing that was not human. Like it did not sound like I say a man because it sounded deep, but it didn't sound like a human person breathing. Like it sounded terrifying, like not a person.
Oh God.
So I'm hearing this and I'm like really trying to just like hold myself right there. And I remember earlier in like maybe not that week or the week before, but at some point before this, we were doing a whole like talk about like what do you do when you like feel like a demonic presence. So we were like talking about all this shit, and everyone obviously, I feel like so many people have demonic experiences. So we're like trying to figure out like what do we do? Like how do you get out of that? And one thing that stuck with me was like just like don't even pray about that. Like don't even like give it the time and space and be like, get this thing away from me or like that kind of stuff. Just start like thanking God for like the good things in your life, like bringing back to like the surface, like all the like pure good, like joy and like happy things, and like start thanking God for that. So I literally just started in my head, not out loud. I was praying like, thank you, God, for this house. Thank you for all the girls that I get to have a relationship with because of this trip and yada yada. Like I was just praying about the people that were there and the trip itself. And as I'm praying this in my head, the girl across from me starts praying out loud exactly what I'm praying in my head.
Stop.
Like I'm not joking. It was the craziest fucking experience ever.
Like as you're thinking it or what you had already thought?
As I'm thinking it. As I am thinking the prayer in my head, it is I am literally hearing it out loud being like repeated back to me basically. Like I would pray like, thank you God for Perkins. That's the name of the house that we were at. And I heard her say, thank you God for Perkins. Like it like just gives me chills thinking about it. But like
God.
She was fully praying what I was praying in my head. And then of course, like so in the morning actually, I woke up and my hands were like this. So like after sleeping, I like she prayed and then I don't remember anything after that. I think I just immediately fell asleep.
Oh my God.
Like by the grace of God,
that's scary.
I fell asleep. I didn't pull the covers down. I didn't move. I had my hand. I fell asleep like this. And when I woke up in the morning, I had my hands like this. Like I was like my hands were like stuck like this all night.
That's like not a natural, your body resting.
Like my body doesn't want to be doing this with my arms like pressed up against myself.
Oh my God,
like this.
That's like so intense. Like your muscles are flexed. You don't flex in your sleep.
No.
Oh my God.
I woke up like this. And I I'm like, can I even move right now? I was like, what is happening to my body? And I just like started wiggling my fingers and I'm like, okay, ooh, I'm okay. I can see the light coming in the windows. It's morning. Everything's fine. And I asked that girl, actually, I'm pretty sure I woke up and I was like, did anyone hear Allie praying last night? And everyone that I was like in passing, everyone was like, no, like what? And then I'm pretty sure my friend Carlin, who was my bunkmate, told me afterwards, she was like, I didn't hear her pray, but I definitely felt like a really bad presence last night from like that side of our bed. Like
Oh,
she like
no.
felt that there was something there that was like literally had to have been like hovering over me at that point.
Oh my God.
So she was like, I was praying in my head over you, like, because I could feel something was off and like something was wrong. She didn't see anything, but she was like, no, it definitely felt really heavy and like scary, and I couldn't sleep for a long time. I was like, okay, that's validating. And then I asked the girl, I was like, do you remember praying last night? Like, you said a whole like long ass prayer that I was praying. I was saying and coming up with in my head, you were praying it out loud. And she was like, no, I don't remember any of that.
That's so much scarier than if she was just like, oh yeah, I was praying because I felt something scary. Yeah. Like,
no, she was like, no,
she doesn't.
I don't remember.
How many, if you can remember, how many like things like that you thank God for? Like, do you remember about how many things it was that you were thinking and that she said? Or how long that went on?
That's a really good question. I think honestly, it feels like it only went on for like a couple minutes.
A couple minutes?
Yeah. I don't think it was
oh my God, that's a lot.
Is that a long time?
Like she was praying your thoughts for a couple minutes?
Yeah, at least over a full like 60 seconds is what it felt like.
Over here thinking like she said 3 or 4 things. Like,
no, it was definitely a long time. I guess, I mean, in my head it felt like it was really fast. But yeah. I guess
I
guess that's kind of a long time.
No, that is a long time. My God.
It was like, I was like, thank you, God, for this house, and thank you for New Zealand, and thank you for all these people here, and thank you for Perkins, and bless this and bless that. Like I just kept going, and like as I'm going, I'm hearing her say it back to me for like at least a full minute. Yeah.
That's horrifying. It was scary when I thought it was like 3 or 4 things. Like,
no,
it's next level knowing that it was going on for a long time.
It was going on for, yeah.
In that moment, did you feel more scared, or did it feel more like, oh, there's an amplifier, like this is like double team power, like we're fighting this off? Is that how it felt, or were you scared?
No, I mean, I was obviously like really scared and kind of like just frozen. Mm-hmm. Like it felt like sleep paralysis, but I hadn't even fallen asleep yet. Mm-hmm. Like I was just stuck there, and I'm like holding myself like this. And I feel like I remember feeling like, okay, God's got me. Like it's gonna, this will pass. Like this will be fine.
Amazing.
So I was just kind of like waiting it out at that point. But I do remember being like, that's most terrified I've ever been in my life.
Yeah. Oh
and
my
like
God.
I think the most like tangible that like even those experiences as a kid, like running through the like big figure, like that didn't feel as scary or heavy as hearing like something breathing next to me. Mm-hmm. Or like do demons even breathe? Like
that's a good question.
Like, do they even need to do that, or was it just mocking me and like trying to like scare me? I don't know.
Oh my God.
Like, I guess that makes sense. But
after that happened, did you feel anything else in that house, or did anyone else feel anything like that? Or was that like isolated?
No, yeah. There were always, like, that entire trip, I feel like at least once a week, one of the girls would be like, oh, I saw this last night. Ooh. Or like, oh, I saw this. Or, oh, I heard this. But it was never like, it wasn't ever like ghost activity. It was like very clearly like demonic shit. Like, I feel like there's a difference between like a ghost, like moving a pencil or like doing stupid shit like that.
Harmless
ghost things.
They call sometimes residual energy. Have you heard of that?
Yeah.
Where it's like someone lived in this house for 80 years and they walked through this hallway a billion times in 80 years. So when they pass on, that energy's still there. So you can see
So
like
you
a
can
little
still
imprint of that, but it seems
Yeah.
it's not aware of you. It's not intimidating. It's just there.
Yeah.
But you felt like this was different.
No, it very much felt like it was like there was something or multiple different bad energies that were like all trying to attack us and like trying to like steal our mind from like focusing on why the hell we had just spent 10K to like go to New Zealand and
Dang.
be a missionary for 6 months. Like
Yeah.
it felt very intentional and very like, I don't want to say powerful because then I'm like giving it power, but it just like felt like it had intention. I have one last one for you.
Yes.
This is my Halloween experience. So I had a wedding. I'm a wedding photographer. So I had a wedding up north, and it just so happened that like my friend's parents had moved up there and they were within an hour from where I booked this wedding. So I'm like, hey, we should go up stay at your parents for Halloween weekend, and you can come shoot this wedding with me and it'll be super fun. So it literally was, we had shot the wedding and then we're there for one more day and then it was Halloween. So literally Halloween Eve, we were literally just hanging out. Like we went to a couple wineries, came back, time for bed. I am like kind of experiencing that like tossing and turning feeling, like just can't find that like rest in my body to like close my eyes and go to sleep. And I kind of fall into a little bit of sleep, and then literally I am woken up at midnight on the dot on Halloween to my name being called. Like clear as day. Kari!
No.
Clear as day.
Was it male or female voice?
I don't know.
Somewhere in the middle.
It was like, I think when I heard it, I was like, was that Leah? Because I don't know. It didn't sound like girly, but it didn't sound like a Kari. Like it didn't sound like man.
So somewhere in the middle.
Somewhere in the middle.
But you thought it was your girlfriend.
Yeah, probably a girl's voice then, because I was like, what? Like it didn't sound, but that's the thing. It didn't sound like Leah. But I was
she's
like,
the only person around.
She was
so it must
literally
be her.
the only person around.
Ooh.
And so I was in like a guest room that was the wall connected to then her room.
Mm-hmm.
So she was sleeping in the room straight across, like our beds face each other.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, did I start snoring or something? Did I wake her up? Like, is she yelling at me because I need to roll over?
Mm-hmm.
And I remember texting her literally, and that's how I know what time it was, because I rolled over and I was like, what? Why is she yelling at me?
What do you need?
What did I do? So I texted her and I'm like, why'd you yell at me? And she just never responded. And I'm like,
oh no.
You would think like if she's yelling at me, she would just like text me.
Right.
Too. Like if she just woke me up, she would text me and like, hey, you're snoring.
Yeah.
That was what happened. And then I just kept tossing and turning and fell back asleep.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that happened when I woke up in the morning, come to realize my wedding band is not on my finger. And I do not take this shit off. I don't take it off when I wash my face. I don't take it off anywhere. Like it is always on my finger. So when I woke up in the morning, I like do my normal thing, go to the bathroom and like wash my face, start getting ready. And then I realized I don't have my ring. Where is my ring? I didn't take it off. Like I don't take, like I vividly remember taking off this ring and I set it next to the sink. And I'm like, okay, if I would have taken this off, it would be sitting right next to this ring in the bathroom. And it wasn't there. And then I'm like, did I like take it off in my sleep? Literally tore the bed apart. Like was on my hands and knees crawling around looking for my ring everywhere. I went back out to the jacuzzi. I'm like, did I drop it in the pool? I was looking everywhere for it and I couldn't find it. Her mom never found it afterwards. Like gone. Just vanished.
Like you never found it? It just
vanished.
It just deleted off your body.
It literally did. Also, this is like a $30 Amazon cigar band that I wear as my wedding band. But
is that what
this is exactly what it was.
Like? That's like a big ring. It's not like a dainty.
Like this would be easy to find if it had like
Yeah.
fallen on the floor. It's not like it's super tiny by any means.
Oh my God.
So yeah, no one ever found it. I'm like, what happened to that? But also like I don't take it off. Like I never take it off. It's not like it's something that like slides off my finger easily to where I need to
Right.
be aware of it. So it was just
Oh
gone.
my God.
And then I see Leah and I'm like, why'd you yell at me last night? She's like, I didn't yell at you. I'm like, what do you mean you didn't yell at me? She's like, I was dead asleep last night, dude. I did not wake up once. And she remembers vividly that she did not wake up because her dog that always sleeps with her always snores and he didn't wake her up once the night before. She was like, actually, Indy slept really well last night, so I know I didn't wake up.
Oh my God.
Also, the town that we were staying in is like one of the original gold mining towns in California.
What town?
It's called Placerville.
Okay.
So it's like literally if you go walk around the town, like people have had ghost encounters in that town, like a ton.
Mm-hmm.
So we were already like kind of talking about that. Also, it's Halloween. So we're like spooky stories, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd like, it's always when you least expect it. Like,
oh my God.
For my name to be called, I'm like, what? Who?
Why? Two things independently are scary, and then together, and even if
I'm like, did a ghost come and literally pull it off? Like, also, hello, that's hard to get off. God. Like, that's and on it was my the same finger.
Size.
Yes.
It would be scary even if you put it by the sink and it disappeared from there. Like, I mean, that's your wedding band. That's like very significant. Like,
yeah.
But off like, your body? Oh my God.
I literally don't know. I don't know how that could happen.
And you would have found it if you like somehow took it off in your sleep. But
yeah,
that's like, so random to you never do anything like that. Like,
yeah. I literally swear to God, checked every nook and cranny I possibly could around the bed, under the bed, pillowcases, behind the bed. Like,
and it hasn't been found in like 2 years? It was 2 years ago or a year?
No, this is this past Halloween.
Oh,
so not even a full year yet. But yeah, not found. Jeez. And then that's after this. So on Halloween, I drove Leah to Sacramento airport for her to fly home. And then I drove from Sacramento to Mammoth, and I'm staying by myself in the mountains.
Oh God. No.
Nothing else happened on this trip. Praise God, because if it would have, I feel like I would have been way too scared. Mm-hmm. But on the drive in between, I was listening to Morbid, and they were talking about, they had this exorcist on, and she was talking about all the different ways demonic presences can like present themselves. And then she was talking about how specifically on Halloween and like around that time, like that's like when the spiritual realm is like the closest to Earth. Mm-hmm. And like you were saying too, it's like, okay, also people are like more like happy to talk about spooky stuff and more open to talking about scary stuff and ghost encounters and paranormal shit. Mm-hmm. But she literally said that losing things, like things will go missing, you will hear your name called, like that's a common thing. And both of those things, there was one other thing that didn't happen that I can't remember what she said that is like a common.
You got the majority though.
But I literally got 2 of the 3. And I'm like,
my God.
At midnight on a Halloween.
So those demons like really checking in, like
it's like, hey, I'm still here.
She passed the test 6 years ago. Let's try her again. And it seems like you passed because nothing has happened.
Nothing has happened since then.
Oh my God.
And that was, And also I remember that happening. And obviously I thought it was my friend Leah. So I don't know why. I think I just wrote it off as that because I'm like, I'm not going to lay here and be scared.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, Leah just yelled at me to stop snoring, so I'm just going to go back to sleep. But I don't, like all my other encounters, there was a lot of fear around it. And this most recent one, there was not that like same level of fear.
That's really interesting.
Yeah. I don't know.
Given that it's after your mission experience.
Yeah.
You know, you're
maybe,
like,
yeah. Maybe that has a little to do with it. I feel
You're
a little
strong
more
now.
Yeah.
And you know what not to do. And you're an impenetrable force now.
Yeah.
That is wild.
That's what I'm going to believe for myself.
Yeah. That sucks that you lost your ring, though.
I know. Well, I immediately just ordered another one on Amazon.
I feel like...
And I'm so glad that it was that and not my actual engagement ring.
Yeah. Oh.
Like, that
good.
would have really fucking sucked.
I feel like in 20 or 30 years, you're going to be somewhere and that ring's going to show up.
You think so?
I kind of think so. Remember that I said that.
Maybe I'll find it next time I go up north. It'll just
it'll be
up.
Somewhere. It's going to be like
the Placerville ghosts.
Yeah, it's going to be like
those old mining ghosts, whatever they're up to.
They're going to have it.
They're going to give it back to me.
Mining for gold.
And I will find it.
And there'll be like a chunk and you're like, no, this is my ring.
That would be crazy.
That is wild. Like,
there it is. That's everything I have for you.
Amazing. Oh my God. Like each one of those itself is like enough for a lifetime. And you have like 5, 6 of them. That is...
I have one too many.
Insane. And potentially your family as well. So
yeah, I'll have to let you know.
I'm going
to text my sister and my mom after this and be like, you know, have you guys experienced anything? Because it would be more scary if I'm the only one in that house that had experienced stuff like that.
So it was after you.
Yeah.
But yeah, say I know someone who would like to talk to you. If you
I'll let them know. I'll let them know for sure.
Amazing. Oh my God. Well, thank you
for
telling me your ghost stories.
Yeah, you're so welcome.
Amazing. Bye.
Okay, bye.
Okay, so thinking about how I would feel if someone was reciting my thoughts out loud as I was thinking them has literally kept me awake at night. And now it will keep you awake at night as well. You're welcome. Find Kari on Instagram at Kari Shoots Film, and her photography website is karitellophoto.com. If you're engaged or soon to be engaged, I cannot recommend Kari enough. She was hands down my favorite vendor, and my wedding photos are unreal. Please like, rate, review, subscribe, follow the pod wherever you consume it. Follow us on Instagram for photos from the show at Tell Me Your Ghost Story Podcast. If you're listening to audio only, there's a video accompaniment over on YouTube, and we got some fun stuff going on over at TikTok at Tell Me Your Ghost Story Pod. If you have a true paranormal story you'd like to share, please email it to tellmeyourghoststorypodcast at gmail.com. Until next week, my friends, good night to all, and to all a good night. Bye.